Welcome. Hold on. That screen was supposed to be on. Welcome to Bears Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. On the broadcast alongside of me is Flournoy, Guy Moore, Tammy Harris. Man, the Bears fall 16-13 to the Ravens. What's going on, Tammy?
Now playing the role of Thanos is Tammy Harris.
With a glove.
Hey, that it's
It's just not a good day. I'm gonna get it together, but I need a minute.
you need a minute? Okay. Hey, Guy, I know you out bowling right now. You won't be able to stay on for the whole broadcast, so I'm gonna try to jump to you a little early. What happened in this game to you?
Poor management. Poor coach. Okay, yeah, I know it sounds like a beaten drum, man. Now he's got to go, man. Some decisions is totally just incredibly just ridiculous. First and foremost, something that Jay pointed out was interesting. You know, this kid is running all over the place. Guys are dropping balls. He's doing everything he can. He gets injured. They bring Dalton in and they go max protect. They give him three tight ends. Okay, everybody's gonna say, "Oh yeah, well, this is how he does it. He's a veteran." Yeah, I get that, but by the same token, you don't see the same max protect with Justin. So offense stagnant. The 3rd and 1, you could have just ran it with Dalton. He throws this long shot to Mooney and he misses it, and then you run it, and the linebacker comes up the middle. Bottom line is Nagy's got to go, and I hate to say this, just like I was telling you guys off the broadcast, I think they need to just go ahead and shut Justin down for the rest of the season. Just let him do that, because it don't make no sense for him to be trying his butt off to do the best that he can, trying to will to a win, but every time he drops back, there's someone there and he's got to run, or they have him sit in the pocket, and the pocket is like collapsing like a deck of cards. But everything about that game is except for Roquan Smith.
Okay. Hey, Plank, what happened today?
Wow. It looked like the Bears lost the ability to play defense at the end. Defense did do a great job early on trying to keep them down, but you think about it, they're playing against a second string quarterback, and if you can't hold him down at crunch down time, I don't think you can really call yourself a NFL team. Offensively, we were lethargic. We were pathetic. We didn't have any kind of scheme going for us. We also lacked any continuity from a down to a down series. Our play calling was pretty pathetic. So yeah, I mean, this was just a really, really hard one to watch because in many cases I'd rather be blown out. At least you're not even in the same stratosphere as the team you're playing. But there's no way we should have lost that game.
Okay, yeah. Looking at this game, I mean, basically, we were unproductive the first half of this game. I mean, this is a
The whole
team
game.
that they hired. Yeah, the whole game really, but this is a team that hired organization as more Zach that hired a coach because he's supposed to be an offensive guru or whatever he might have been. But when you 31st in offense and you have that means even your scripted plays didn't even work. I
Right.
mean, basically, the Bears offensively didn't do anything until after halftime as far as offense. That's unacceptable now that you into your 4th season, you still getting this type of offensive performance from your team. And overall, unfortunately, the Bears put themselves in a position to win, but the defense still just can't get those stops in those moments that you need them. And it's the same thing that happened in the Steelers game where you put yourself in a position to win and then you can't stop the last drive of the game. And it doesn't matter how high you rank. If you can't stop a team in those moments, I mean, you could rank in the bottom half of the league to me because those are the moments that become important too. Can you stop in those moments in those last drive? What you got, Tam? You got yourself together?
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna put this loss on the defense because No, they didn't stop him in the very end, and that was disappointing. But the defense, for the most part, showed up today, and for most of the game, they looked like they came to play. And I said in our text that when we were talking that the defense was gonna get tired. They could not do it by themselves.
Right.
The offense needed to put up some points and give us some breathing room, and they didn't at all. First half, they were completely ineffective, dumb, conservative play calling. 4th and 1 play call. I think they should have gone for it. I think they should have just called a different play. That play was dumb. Another time that they went for it, I can't remember what exactly the situation was, but I wasn't mad about them going for it. And it wasn't fourth, but it was another play that they should have just called a different play. Y'all know I hate that freaking shovel pass. It never works. I wish they would completely get rid of it. I don't put it on the defense at all. It's definitely, in my opinion, on the offense. They needed to put up more points, and it's really frustrating because we were still in a position to win, even though they played poorly. But play calling when it mattered. Santos missing that kick didn't help. Most of the time he's clutch, but him missing that didn't help us. They were 2 of 11 on 3rd down conversions. The Ravens had 9 more first downs than us. They had the ball 17 more minutes than us. The defense was on the field a lot. So I don't put this. I wish the defense had completely played lights out and stopped them, but they gave most of what they had for a lot of the game, and the offense needed to help them out.
Hey, you know what? Real quick, and I'll piggyback on that real quick. You know what? I can say something, and I 100% agree with you, Tammy, because you know what? We give up 24 points a game. We gave up 16. It's irrelevant as Lamar Jackson's not there. I mean, guys got to show up. But by the same token, if you look at it all, it's like last year it was the same thing. Our defense was holding us, and the offense was doing all these 3-and-outs and getting gas. But if you're giving up 24 points a game, and at the end you only give up 16, we did have some spotty play on defense, but I mean, that's all you ask for. You take your average NFL offense, and if their defense gives up 16 points, they're going to win the game. So.
Oh, yeah. What this person just said, I meant to say that in my comments, and I forgot. 22, Vildor, he needs to go.
He's terrible.
He's Vildor tackle, and he was working my nerves. So I meant to say that in my comments, but I'm so flustered, I forgot everything I wanted.
He's the worst black I've ever seen.
Vildor needs to be on the practice squad.
No, he doesn't. He needs to be bagging groceries at Jules next week.
We gonna put him in.
Vildor doesn't. He can't play on this level. At least not what he's shown this year. I would say practice squad because you probably already got a contract with him. I don't know, but I like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and we're getting some comments in right now. Said Bears failure to execute is what they say
must execute situations.
It's a situation. Play caller was suspect as usual. The coaches are not earning their money. The O-line was pretty good today. The defensive black blew too many coverages. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. There was a blown coverage right near the end of the game, and that's one of my pet peeves that I've been saying since preseason. That the Bears secondary is going to average 1 or 2 just blown coverages. But you can't make those blown coverages if it happened, at least not at near a game when it becomes the outcome is almost certain. And they had a blown coverage right near the end of the game where the game was in the balance to be taken. But one of the things looking at this game is what it shows is this team is just not ready. Hold on, we got another comment here from Leonard. Said, what was the Bears' time of possession?
It was like 21 minutes. I think it was like 21 minutes and 10 seconds. And I think the Ravens was like 38 minutes and 50 seconds, something like that.
Okay.
Well, let me go back to Vilder. I mean, that's the worst defensive back playing that I've seen at the NFL level in years. He worse than Toast Patterson that used to play for the New York Giants. What you want to do is you want to keep yourself between the guy and the ball, and at the very least, you don't put your hands on him. You know the ball is in the air. It's impossible for you to continue just to give away plays by trying to grab the guys or whatever. You're gonna get caught every time. And he grabs the guys. In this case, he grabbed the guy when he had safety help over the top, which made no sense. The safety actually was in a better position to catch the ball than the receiver was, and he's still out there trying to put his hands on him, basically giving away free plays. So there's no way that the rookie Thomas Graham is not a better player than what we're looking at from Wilder. We've been looking at him like this the whole year. So that guy sucks. He needs to be cut. Maybe he's a good special teamer, but he's the best. He's the worst defensive back I've seen in a number of years.
His name is Kendall Adult Toy. Do the math. That's what I was talking last week.
Wow, that's you and Tammy.
Hey, you know what? The way
you,
watching Vildor play, it almost makes me want to bust the screen back.
No,
I wait for you to take your camera.
He had Kroger looking at TV like, man, I'd have done better than that. But when you watch these defensive backs, when guys catch the ball and you see dudes turn sideways, it's almost like they running with him like they're in a marathon. I'm like, tackle the son of a gun, please. I'd rather see a guy with a late hit get 15 yards, at least it's a try, instead of letting him get 7, 8 yards, tippy-toeing down the sideline and looking at him like he's walking a dog, man. Yeah, but hey, man, you know what? I got to fly, though. I got to get out of here because they're calling me right now, so I guess.
Hey, have fun. Be safe, okay?
Have fun. Hey, I'm going to put that link out there for some of the people that are viewing us on Facebook and YouTube. If you'd like to come online, especially James Gilmore, click that link and come on and tell us what you see and what are your opinions on this game.
I'll definitely see y'all later.
This game was...
okay. See you later, guys.
Okay.
I had another comment I wanted to... Okay, I had another comment I wanted to put in there as well as what happened.
Okay.
From a situational awareness, there is no way at 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter, playing against a second-string quarterback, we go for it. That made absolutely no sense. What you want to do in that situation is punt the ball, make him have to go 70 or 80 yards, which at that point in the game, he hadn't proven that he had the capacity to do. But instead, we went for it. We didn't make it. We gave this guy a short field, working with the best field goal kicker in the NFL. This is the guy that has the NFL record for the longest field goal, 66 yards. So that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. That, in many ways, that changed the momentum of the game.
Hey, Plank, I totally agree with you on that. I know the announcer was talking about the Bears go for it in that situation. I did not agree with that because just like what you said, they had not proved at that point in the second half that they could move the ball. So why are you panicking and feeling that you need to go for it and going to lead them basically about 50 yards and basically only 20 to get in field goal range when you could at least kicked it and made them drive, at least drive into field goal range. So to me, that was a bad coaching decision on his part. And then when they come out and go for it, why are you in a wildcat formation? Well, now you didn't even eliminated your options on what are you going to do on that play. That didn't, they knew you wasn't going to pass. So that didn't make sense to me. That was I see one of the Facebook users said that was a horrible call. It definitely was a horrible call.
He did let the fans call that, right?
You had anything about that play, Tam? I think you alluded to that play earlier.
I'm not completely mad at going for it. I'm mad at the play call. The Bears were 2 of 3 on 4th down conversions. The Bears had the ability to convert on 4th down and get a yard. That was just a dumb Bears play call.
I agree with you as far as having them go for it, but in that situation, we're already up. The game, the score in the game at that point was we're up 7-6 in the fourth quarter. Okay, so what you want to do is give them a longer field because we had already showed that we could stop them. We were doing a pretty good job matching up from a defensive standpoint. Giving them a short field was the beginning of the end as far as this this travesty of a game that we put out there in the fourth quarter.
Let the defense play. Shoot, the defense was on the field more than half the game. They weren't playing. What you mean, let them play? They
Yeah,
didn't
that
play.
I disagree with that. Let the defense play. What are we talking about? What were we
The
on the field?
The
40
defense
minutes?
played hard. I
They
mean,
did.
they didn't get it done at the end, but I said what early in the fourth quarter in the text, I was like, the offense has got to help the defense out. They can't do it by themselves.
I think we came away with 5 or 6 sacks. I think
Yeah,
Roquan Smith must have got like 48, 60 tackles, something crazy like that. Because he's still tackling people outside right now. I'm like, what
right,
the hell
right.
is going on?
I know Roquan Smith is pissed because he was pissed
Yeah.
last week. I mean,
Yeah,
against the Steelers. I know he pissed. He gives 1,000% every time he on the field. Like I don't
yeah.
know.
I know Jay may be able to join us at some point. I know Jay was actually at the game today. He was able to send us a few messages. Jay was already claiming the Thanos glove. Hold on, I got it right here. For matter of fact, anybody out there who want to claim that Thanos glove is the most angriest today, but this game was actually hard. This game was actually hard to watch until the fourth quarter. It was
That was
very
hard
kind
to
of
watch.
yeah. The fourth quarter got a little bit more interesting because you finally got some scores. And I will say one positive in this game for the Bears was they actually got a touchdown in the third quarter, which is kind of uncharacteristic of the Bears this year. I think they've in 3 games they've scored 3 points, but they actually got a touchdown today in the third quarter, which was a little
Yeah, that was
uncharacteristic.
actually an unlikely touchdown as well. That was on 4th and 11. That defensive back for Baltimore was terrible. They must have been cousins. I think that was Vilda's cousin or whatever. Because both of those, there's no way you play it like that in that particular situation. And we saw at least 2 instances where defensive backs had no situational awareness.
Okay. Hey, one of the Facebook users said they'll take the glove. Hey, I know all of us is angry about this game because when you get in games like this, it really comes down to who wants it, especially with them not having a starting quarterback playing in the game. And they wasn't, even though they was possessing the ball more than the Bears in the first half, they really wasn't doing anything. I'm trying to remember the score. What was it, 6-0 at halftime? I couldn't quite
Yeah,
remember the score.
6-0. That was it.
Okay, so the score was 6-0 at halftime. So even though they had almost possessed the ball more, no, almost double the time the Bears at that time because the Bears had a whole lot of 3-and-outs. You see, just with one touchdown with Andy Dalton, you was ahead of that game 7-6, and you really looked like you could have almost won that game at that point. So this is the type of games that you have to be able to take advantage of because you end up getting the momentum. They have a player out, and they're not really doing anything. Of course, you're not doing anything either. But once you get those opportunities, you got to be able to capitalize on this. And it's making me a little leery as we go into this game for Thanksgiving. I mean, I don't know if this is an automatic as far as this game on Thursday, but we'll get to
Yeah,
that game.
the Bears don't win 2-0, but other than that, it's not gonna be a good game.
Yeah, hey, I'm trying to get Jay a minute to get on here, but hey, let's get to this here. Then we can start looking at the offense and the defense specifically. We just look at the bragging rights right now. Guy is 7-3. I'm 6-4. Jay 6-4. Quick 6-4. Plank 3-7, and Tammy is 3-7 in this so far this season.
That's okay.
Hey,
I'm going in with the Bears records. I don't care. It is what it is.
hopefully they can make a run of it. Now let's go to the offense. Let's look at this game. Guy had made a point when we were text messaging each other that he knows some people going to start acting like maybe Justin, because Andy threw the touchdowns, that Justin probably shouldn't start the next game if he's healthy. Do you think there's a quarterback controversy at this point, Plank?
No, I don't. Andy Dalton showed what he was. He came away and he threw one touchdown, which was great. But it wasn't like Andy Dalton had any better control of the offense than what Justin Fields showed. He didn't look like a 10-year veteran that knew what he was doing. Many of his passes were bounce passes, which don't count in football. It maybe how it counts in tennis. But Andy Dalton absolutely did not look like he was the answer to our overall quarterback problem today.
Okay, so you don't see a quarterback controversy. What about you, Tammy? Do you see one?
I mean, I don't think there's a quarterback controversy. Yes, Andy got a touchdown, but like he said, it's not like he came in and proved to be a leader and made things happen. What I will say about some Bears fans and non-fans, y'all, they get on my nerves and I can really give less than a flying fig what they got to say. But for the people that are Bears fans, it's not that we expected too much this year, but I would say that we did expect better. We knew that this wasn't going to be our year. We knew we had one of the toughest schedules out there, but we wanted things to come together better because we have more talent on our team than what shows on the field. Even though we do have some holes that we definitely need to fill, we have more talent that can come together. And Justin Fields is our quarterback of the future, and he needs to go through his lumps, unfortunately. And we need to work through it. It's better that he works through the lumps this year, and we're in a better position to succeed next year than to go through this next year.
Right.
And everybody, they got to get him some help. He's making some better decisions, but he got to hold on to the ball. He did get rid of it. He is getting rid of it quicker, so that's better. What's up?
No, okay. I was just waving at Sharon.
He's waving at Sharon.
Okay.
He is getting rid of it quicker, which is better. He is, in most cases, starting to show a little bit more poise. He has to get his sea legs. I just wish that our fan base, Chicago Bears fans, that is, would. I'm gonna root for whoever's in there. So if Andy's our quarterback, I'm rooting for whoever's in there because I'm always gonna root for my team. But I do think that Justin still needs to be our first quarterback.
Okay. Hey, I agree with both of y'all. I don't think there's any type of controversy when it comes to this. Fields is your starter in his game Thursday, unless some reason he can't go. Because other than that, take your lumps this year with him, because you're gonna have ups and downs with a rookie. And to me, this is the perfect time to do it because we all said it on this broadcast from the time we saw them in preseason. That none of us, I don't believe, think they was a playoff team. So what you need to do is let him play, let him get his learning pains, because why would you want to go through that? What's the point of going having a quarterback controversy to actually end up with the same results, right? In one sense, the Bears, I'm gonna say this like I said last year, the Bears ownership, and I said this when they hit the 5-game losing streak last year, need to decide what do they want to do. You don't need a coach trying to get W's to pad his record at this point.
Right.
You don't have a first-round pick next year, but you could actually be higher in the second round that maybe you could trade up and get into the bottom of the first round by not being in the middle of the road, by finish with 8 victories, or at this point it can't be 9, but finishing with 8 victories, which that's seem impossible because they're not playing with enough momentum to even believe that they will win that many more games as we look down the schedule. But anyway, offensively, what did you see overall offensively, Tammy?
Not much. They were not spreading the ball around like they were in a couple other games where they were looking good. They weren't making effective use of the running backs, the tight ends, and the wide receivers. There were a lot of drop passes. There were a lot of miscommunications. There were some wrong routes ran, some overthrown balls. There was some conservative running. that was going on, and just, you know, just bad choices, um, as far as play calling, when it wasn't, when a different play design would have made a difference in the outcome and us moving the ball and being more effective.
Okay. And what grade you get offense, Tammy? That sounds like an F almost.
D.
D. Okay. Hey, Plank. With me, what you see in the offense, and also you leave your grade while you talking about it.
Sure. From an offensive standpoint, it looks like, again, I talked about no continuity. It didn't look like we had a good schema. There were, I didn't see a whole lot of passes directed at the tight ends, which last week, the game against Pittsburgh, tight ends played a much larger role in our success. So I don't know why we went away from that. We went away from the running game as well, which was one of our core strengths. In a game like this, where it's a one-score game, it would have seemed like trying to run the ball would have gave us a better opportunity. So offensively, we had a whole lot of problems with that. Not the least of which were the number of drop passes that were out there. Um, I heard that Bird is supposed to be a really fast guy. He didn't look that fast to me. He had a lot of ball that he could have run up under, but it didn't seem like he was able to do that. Overall, I gave the offense a D, um, and I think I'm being pretty
Generous.
extremely generous giving them a D. So
Okay. Hey, I'd like to thank all those who's watching us right now on Facebook and YouTube. Right now, we're talking about the Bears Ravens game. As far as offense, to me, I remember on Friday when Jay had mentioned that this is a team that you could probably just run on, not run on, pass on,
right,
because of it. And I know statistically it looked like that, but you know what? My philosophy always is do whatever your strength is. That's what you have to do in sports.
be
You
you.
can't all of a sudden be, if a other team their weakness is not their weakness is not your strength. You're not all of a sudden just gonna get good at passing the ball just because they're not a good passing defense. You still got to run the ball. And I did think in this game that the run that they did make, they were not designed well. They were not called like at the right time. Seemed like they was kind of just random runs. And they have, to me, this offense running game has seemed like it's been out of sync since Montgomery got back.
Mhm.
And it's not Montgomery's fault, but it seemed like it's like the running plays they calling is not the running plays that they was calling for Montgomery before the injury. It's almost like they're calling offensive runs that fit Herbert more than Montgomery. I don't know. I have to go back and look at tapes, but it doesn't look like they're running the ball properly for his running style. But with all that said, I give them a D minus. I mean, this was a terrible offensive performance, and it would have been an F if they had not scored those points in the last half of the game. And I wish Jay could get on here before we move from the offense. He may not be able to get here on all because I know he's at the Soldier Field, and they probably tearing up the parking lot or looking for
Tequila.
George McCaskey, trying to tell him to fire Nagy today, because I think Jay, we can't speak for him, but I think Jay is going to finally join us in the Fire Nagy Club.
He a
Come
little
on
late,
over.
but he
Come on
came to
over
the
to the
party.
dark side with us, Jay. We've been trying to get you to come over here since
Come
last
on.
year. Come on over, brother. Hey, let's move to the defense, and we'll start with Plank. What did you see out of the defense today, and give me a grade?
I think the defense did very well. Especially for the amount of time they were out there. There were not that many penalties. They had a couple of pass interference calls, which is something that you're going to get in the NFL today. But the defense, I think they came out with either 5 or 6 sacks, so they imposed their will. Roquan Smith was lights out. We got one cornerback that's actually playing at an elite level. That's Jalen Johnson. You didn't see a whole lot of passes even going on his side of the field. So from a defensive standpoint, we're missing Hicks, we're missing Mack, we're missing Trevathan, we're missing Eddie Jackson, and the defense still were motivated and they were still able to play a good game. Uh, Sean Desai, I think he put together a decent package. Even with that, we would have liked to see us pull it out at the end. But defense, I'm going to give them a B plus. I think they did a
You
very
get defense
decent job.
B plus.
Yeah, especially because we're talking about the NFL average is 22, 24 points. They gave up 16. You would figure most of the games you give up 16, you're going to win. Even though it didn't happen this way today.
Okay. Hey Tammy, what do you think about the defense today, and how do you grade the defense?
I think the defense was very good for most of the game. Um, um, and most of the time when our defense plays like that, they help to put us in a position to win. So I think for most of the game, they did their job, except Bill Dorr, who needs to sit down. He gets an F. Bill Dorr gets an F. Um, I give the defense a B because mainly because in the end, yes, they didn't get it done, but it shouldn't have been all on them.
Right,
It shouldn't have been all on them at all. But for 85% of the game or something like that,
right.
the defense kept us in it. You know, the defense, they had heart, they were fired up. They were not going to get embarrassed this week. That's how I felt like they were playing. I felt like they were playing for the most part to redeem themselves. Now, and to Keith's point, our defense, which is our heart, is playing without Mack, without Hicks. I ain't talking about Eddie Jackson. I don't think he had that much. I don't think he had that much money in there, so I don't think we missed anything with him, to tell you the truth. But I think the defense played with heart, and normally when our defense at least plays like they played today, they put us in a position to win, and they did put us in a position to win if the offense had done their part. I said if we could hold the Ravens to under 21 points or under 22 points, that we could win, and we could have.
Yeah, Bernard, to that point, 5
Hmm.
sacks. We came away with a turnover and 16 points. That's a pretty good defensive showing. You know, of course, it hurts my heart that we didn't show up at the last drive at the end of the game because I would have wanted a better outcome. But you really can't, you can't lean on the people that are playing the hardest and beat them up because you lack the win at the end of it. That's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, yeah. Plank. I agree with you and Tammy. I thought the defense played well. I'm going to give them a B minus because they gave up the points at the end. If they had not did that, I would have probably gave them a B or even close to an A because they did hold them. But the problem I do have with not really so much with the defense is special teams let the Bears down today. I know we're talking about defense, but special teams let the Bears down today as well.
They did.
They had a partial block punt
They did.
that actually left a short field. I can't recall if a score was. I think they got a field goal out of that. I can't remember, but I think they got a field goal, or they might have got that interception. It's kind of hard to remember the game, but they might have ended up getting the interception in that drive when one of the Bears defenders deflected the ball and it rolled up on him. So that was a good play as well, where the defender, the corner, intercepted that ball while he was on the ground. I thought Robert Quinn played well. He put the pressure on the quarterback. I thought some of the other defensive linemen played well, and they really got after the quarterback when he did scramble. They didn't allow him to get no real big scrambles or anything. But the biggest weakness on the Bears defense is still always becomes their secondary of giving up those
Same
blown
guy.
coverages. But still, even with that, yeah, same guy. I still get them. I still get them a B minus as far as the defense. And like I said, it would have been a B plus. That's a regular B if it wasn't for the giving up that to give up that score near the end. But what do you think about the special teams, Plank?
I thought they did a terrible job. And I'm not really beating up on Cairo Santos You don't go from 40 in a roll and doing a really good job for the last 2 years, and then everybody leave and jump on him because he missed a 66-yard field goal. I think a lot of what happened today was some of the residual effect of missing that 66-yard field goal. You're gonna miss some. So he's been lights out. He's been our answer to a field goal kicker. So I'm not really, eating his lunch for missing a kick. He still came away with two good field goals. So I think he was good. As far as that block punt, that's a terrible situation for us to give that up, and we should have been way more aware of that as well. So
Okay.
and the other thing I wanted to mention, it would have seemed that with less than 30 seconds left, our our Pro Bowl punt returner or kickoff returner would have tried to return the kick because we had a better chance of scoring on a kickoff return than we did on a Hail Mary play. It didn't make sense for all of the time this guy tried to run it out of the end zone or whatever. For him to just let that kick go at that phase in the game didn't make a lot of sense to me. So that helped me give the special teams a lower grade, and I'm giving them a C minus.
Okay, C minus on special team. I get a
Hmm.
special. I get a special teams a F.
Ooh.
Where you get a special teams, Tammy?
I give them an F too because they didn't do squat. They did absolutely nothing. So I give them an F.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, one of the Facebook users. I'm sorry we can't see your name. Say y'all really nice. LOL.
And you know what? I don't think we nice. Y'all know I'm especially not nice to the defense. I am harder on our defense most of the time than
You
anybody
generally
else
are.
because defense is important to me. But the defense, they control their penalties for the most part. They play with a lot more discipline. You know, they had sacks, they made tackles, most of excluding Bildor. Um, you had more than Roquan Smith doing stuff because Gibson was doing stuff, Quinn was doing stuff. Um, the defense, I felt they played with some heart, and I give them credit for that. They at the end maybe they were a little gassed. I don't know, but they shouldn't have to carry everything. I feel like they gave most of what they could. I wish they had pulled it out, but I can't fault them. Offense had to do their freaking job.
Would have been nice.
Right. Yeah. Hey, let's move over to the coaching staff. What do you think about coaching today overall? Matter of fact, I'll go right back to you, Tammy.
Defense or offense or together.
Oh, just put it all together.
D. I think the defensive coaching was pretty good for the most part. Offense still dumb play calling. Special teams coaching sucked. Like they didn't make the special teams coaching made nothing happen. The offensive coaching made very little happen. And the I'm not mad like y'all are for them with them going for it on fourth down. I'm mad at the play that was called because they could have made it happen. And if they had made the right play call, it would have been a completely different story. I think. But I feel like the only ones who showed up to play today was the defense.
Yeah. Hey, I give the coaches overall. I give the coaches a C minus because of the offense being so bad, but the defense being a B. So I'm gonna give them. No, let me take that. I'm gonna give them a D. I'm gonna give them a D because special teams and offense really suck most of this game, but the defense kind of picked up the slack good enough to keep them in a position to win this game when it counted. So yeah, I'm gonna give them a D. I'm gonna give them a D overall as far as coaching. What you got, Plank, as far as coaching?
Well, first of all, the ineptitude of the defense was exacerbated by them having a bye week. So you had an extra week once again to get ready for this team. You knew that whatever players you were lacking or whatever, you had an extra week to prepare, and that was the answer you came out with. So that's ridiculous. That's like your teacher giving you a take home test, and you come on talking about my dog ate the homework. That don't make any doggone sense. You already knew what you were coming up against, and you didn't prepare for it in any way. From a coaching standpoint, especially how they came out in the first half, offensively we had no kind of continuity, and then when we came back with our response after halftime, we were just as bad. So I'm giving coaching a D minus, and that's including the defensive coaching score where I gave him a decent score. Special team coach gets an F, and Matt Nagy and his coaching staff, from an offensive standpoint, they also get an F. So altogether, that still averages out to a D.
Okay, so I got a D, you got a D, and Tam, you said a D as well, right?
Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for the
Okay.
defense, they would got an F.
Yeah, see, this is the problem with Nagy as well. Is how do you justify that 2 seasons in a row he has at least a 5-game losing streak, and he has not won any game since he's been here coming out of a bye week? So what are you not
0-4,
preparing?
right?
For the team. Hold on, we got Byron. Hey, what you got? What's up, Byron? B-Dub said bad teams find a way to lose and good teams find a way to win. Excellent
That's
point,
true.
B-Dub. That's exactly what happens. Sharon says she gave the coaching a D. Then somebody else, I guess they saying, man, y'all nice. No, we ain't nice. We giving them D's. I mean,
We ain't never
what's wrong
nice.
could be an F,
Wait,
you
you
know?
know what? The person that's saying we nice, I wonder if that's Guy's friend that's on the borderline of getting evicted from our group. Tony Wells, because he ain't showing his name.
We got Dr. Patterson that gave us. We saw that. We see that, D. So I'm glad that you showed up. Thank you so much for supporting.
Yeah,
That's
I'd like
Sharon.
to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook today. The Bears fall 16-13 to the Baltimore Ravens in a closely contested game near the end. And as usual, under Nagy regime, he cannot pull out close victories.
Well, we got to look at the
say
whys,
as a-
though. We got to figure out the whys and the hows and who's doing what. And I got to look at the film, and I don't really know what's going on. I'm like, dude, enough. 4 years of this, I've had enough.
What
Hey,
y'all
Plank.
give the rest today?
I
Not
gave the
what?
rest a decent
It was a
score.
decent game.
I'm not giving them a
decent game.
grade, but they weren't bad.
Hey, for Nagy, I'm ready to go out with the bonfires and the pitchforks. Let's go right to his house. It's time to get that guy up out of Hallis Hall.
Okay. Hey, Byron Williams, who's watching us on YouTube, said, my grade is incomplete. They can't finish the game. Very valid point. We have another Facebook user that we can't see their name. Said Nagy will be gone on Monday.
Why wait till Monday?
It's a home game. It's a home game. He doesn't have to catch the plane back. You can just give him his walking papers now, because, like I said
It's a
earlier,
nice day outside. He can walk right outside. Yeah, it's nice.
There's nothing else you need to see from Nagy at this point. Like I said, you have two. Last year, their excuse was they liked the way the Bears dealt with. I think it was George McCaskey said this. He said he liked the way that they stuck together through adversity, through the losing streak.
That's a dumb. That's a dumb statement too.
It is. You know, it's about as dumb as Nagy's statement that it's not anybody's fault, but it's everybody's fault.
Yeah. Right.
Like, what does that mean? You know, so
you know what? I'm about to go upstairs and tell my kids I can't pay the mortgage this week. See if they got anything on it. At some point, you either the leader or you're not. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah. To me, with this team and last year team, the Bears underachieve, and it mainly falls on Matt Nagy. That it's little things in this season and last season that makes a difference of if you win that game or lose that game. And some of it comes down to coaching and preparation. And some of the things that I know I disagree at times with, and some of us disagree with the same thing, is when your players, you had games where you kind of, even last year, that you made questionable, unsportsmanlike plays in crucial situations, even going back to the playoff game in New Orleans last year, when players lack discipline. And to me, players like discipline because of coaching, because they know you. I'm not saying you don't have a player that's not a hothead, but even a hothead could manage himself if he knows there's going to be some kind of punishment, even if it's like reduced playing time. But the Bears players have too lack discipline, and I have to point to Nagy. And at this point, Club Dub won't be open for a while until they make a decision about Nagy. And I
He's been
believe this
condemned.
team has lost this team. Was that right?
Club Doug has been condemned. It had water on the front. It was a fire. All kind of problems out there.
Club Dub is closed for the season, according to Plank. I think it is. Hey, I got another comment here before we close out. We said, if a guy can't catch, are you going to continue to throw him the ball? No.
Well,
no. Matter of fact, if he can't
every
catch,
movie
you need to
you've
go buy
ever
him.
watched, every movie you've ever watched, there's a guy that can't catch that always comes out with a big catch at the end of the game in the big game. But that's the problem. That's the movies. You're right. Don't throw him the doggone ball. Get somebody that can catch the ball and put him on the field. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. James Gilmore said, y'all making me feel good that I didn't watch this game. Hey, James, you didn't miss anything.
You don't want to watch that, man.
Yeah, James, this really was an awful game. And like I said, to the fourth quarter, this game was unbearable to watch through three quarters, to be honest. I mean, well, you got the touchdown pass by Andy Dalton in the third that added a little excitement. But other than that, this game was very hard to watch. It actually reminded me of a few of those games when you had, going back to the 90s, Cade McNown, what's his name?
Cade McNown.
Cade McNown playing, when you went through a couple of those quarterbacks where you couldn't even get first downs, and you was like, wow, this is horrible. Or even going back, because even when you had Bobby Douglas and them back in the day, you always had Walter Payton at least give you some excitement to keep you in the game. But this was kind of a horrible game most of the game. And like I said, I'm in the fire Nagy court, and I've been in that court since last year, and I hope the Bears ownership go against what they normally wouldn't do, which what they normally wouldn't do is a fire coach during season. A lot of people say, hey, what's the point of doing that? The point of it is you could get a jump on being available to start hiring, looking at other coaches. So when that time comes, you have coaches on your radar on who you want to hire, versus waiting all the way until the end of the season and etc. You can start getting your search team together on who's your prospect, because there's no reason to keep this guy. And hey, you may even get a windfall and you get some guys who kind of, you can start determining who you're going to bring back, because there's some players that you may just need to just think about moving regardless of what their contracts are. That you got left on their contract, because you're probably not a playoff team next year unless something else happens. I know I'm jumping a little ahead, but you are who your records say you are. You're 3-17, and 3-17. That's who you are. Your record is who you say you are. I think that's who Bill Parcells always said, that you are what your records say you are. Any of y'all got anything else? I see a couple more comments out there. Andre Sailor say we have a whole week to prepare for this, and this is what we came up with. Exactly. You had a bye week, and that's the best you could come up with. A bunch of 3-and-outs in the first quarter, 0 points at half. I don't even think there's been a game this year where the Bears at least have something at halftime.
Hey, Bernard, I'll tell you what, Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator of Dallas, is looking pretty good to me about right now, as far as the head coach for the Bears next year.
He's looking good. He's looking real excellent to me. Kellen Moore. We talked about Kellen Plank. You remember?
We did.
We wasn't talking about him in reference to a head coach job, but we was talking about, Plank and I was talking about how smart he is. Maybe about 2 months ago, and we were talking about how he didn't make it as a quarterback. But even when you watch him in Boise State, you realize that this guy really understood football.
Right.
And he looks good to me at this point. And also, I know I can't think his name right now. He's the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. I know he didn't do well in his first thing when he went to not Cleveland. He was at the
Denver.
Broncos,
Yeah.
the Denver, yeah.
Uh,
But that doesn't mean a
yeah.
guy shouldn't get
McDaniels,
another
I think.
opportunity at being a head coach, because there's plenty of head
Uh,
coaches that failed before. Not Parcell. Belichick failed the first time as a head coach. There's other head coaches that their first time out they fail, but I'm not saying he should be number one. But you may
yeah,
want to
but
consider him.
McDaniels might not be the one I go with because he had another opportunity at Cleveland, and he left Cleveland out there high and dry as well. So he's kind of waiting for Belichick to go ahead and turn over the reins, which it doesn't look like Belichick is going to do anytime soon.
Okay, yeah, you talking about a reference to Cleveland offered him the job, and then he did
He took
not.
the job, and then
He
he
took the
then he
job, and
reneged
then
and backed out of it. Right.
yeah, because I believe he they made him like what the assistant head coach or something at the
Yeah.
Patriots, and so
Right.
he decided to do that. But yeah, I agree with the Kellen Moore, and I will advise the Bears fans if you watch a Cowboys game, watch how much different their offense looked with him calling the plays, especially this year, and pretty much the same players they didn't had the last few years. So I'm gonna read these last few comments, and we're gonna wrap this up. I was hoping Jay could get on here and he could kind of give us a field view of what was going on and what was some of the comments and how the fans reacted to the game after the game was over, because the way the game ended, it was right at the end of the game when we found out we had lost this game. But we got some comments out here. Byron said the Bears team reflect the lack of high draft picks and good drafting. All those trades have demonstrated the talent on the field. How many Pro Bowlers from the last 5 years? Also, Charles Lawler said, "Be careful." He left the Colts stranded. Yeah, you meant the Colts,
Right.
not Cleveland, but the Colts. Right.
Right. Sorry about
McDaniels
that.
isn't leaving New England. He's a coach in waiting. That's a good point.
Good
And
point.
somebody
Good point.
agreeing with Byron. But I think Kellen Moore maybe need to be higher on this list. I hope we could talk the Bears into firing Matt Nagy. That to me
Hey,
that would be
I like Byron Leftwich as well. So
no news
no
on
news on Fields. Right.
Fields other than it's a rib injury. I was kind of worried on that play that he looked like he got hit in the head as well. I'm assuming, I'm not sure where the rib thing came other than falling down, because it doesn't look like he actually got hit in the rib. So, but it could just
Right.
be the rib
Twisting it the
pads,
wrong way.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the way he fell and the way he got twisted. That might have been the thing, and probably the way it was looking offensively. There was no real reason to really bring him back in the game if there was question about his health, because you got to remember, Fields is the future of this team. That's it. He's the future of this team, and if you can get him as many reps as you can and get him out of the game healthy, that's what you have to do. So, like I said, the Bears fall today 16-13. And we got another suggestion. Greg Roman. I'm trying to think who Greg Roman is. I got another one saying Eric Bieniemy. Eric
I'm
Bieniemy
not taking
is
another one from Kansas City.
yeah.
No.
The problem with Eric Bieniemy this year is KC's offense have looked awful this year. It might not be necessarily his fault, but KC offense has looked awful, and there's not really a selling point right now. If the season was to end today, Eric Bieniemy probably wouldn't be on too many lists just because of how the KC's offense production has failed so much this year. I mean, we don't even know at this point, even if they're a playoff team at this point. So even though that was a good suggestion last year, I'm not sure if it's a good suggestion right now as far as the season going. I see somebody say the Ravens offensive coach. Are you talking about Jim Cadwell? Oh, Jim Cadwell. No, Jim Cadwell is a pretty decent defensive coordinator, in my opinion, but he has not shown in he could really take a team and keep them consistently winning. He did a nice job, I think, filling in for the Colts for a minute, and then I think he was at Detroit for a little while. But I don't know
No,
if he's
this
like a
guy
long
got
term answer.
Detroit to win at least 2 games. He need to be
Okay,
he need to be an owner because Detroit's been sucking for years.
he said 2 games.
2 games, you did a miracle in Detroit. Come on.
Right. Hey, Sharon says,
Good
no,
point.
nobody from KC.
Right.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
right.
we, you know what? Because you always have to be suspect about all these coaches that be on these coaching trees, and they get these jobs, and we expect so much. You see, at the most part, even with Bill Belichick, I know I mentioned as far as their offensive coordinator, but if you look at his tree, most of those guys have went to other jobs and they didn't fail. Now, one thing I had to give Bill Belichick a credit on, he done almost hired almost every one of them guys back though once they fail.
Yeah.
Because I see even Patrice, the coach that was coaching at Detroit, he's back on there. Matt Patrice, he's back on the Patriot staff again, so he does do that. But I'm always leery about those. You know, you get all those guys that was on Andy Reid's tree, and the next thing you look around, they're really not doing much once they get that opportunity. I would say KC is 6-4, and look at the last 2 seasons. Yeah, that's a
They made
valid
it to the
point
Super
on
Bowl
what it.
season. So I don't know.
Yep.
They're doing decent.
Right. They're doing decent, but you like I said, offensively, I don't know because hold on, we got Jay. Before we just about to close out, Jay. What's going on, Jay?
What's up, Thanos?
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, man, I'm mad. Hey, I'm mad because on top of the Bears losing, I actually lost my wallet today, so I'm in
Oh
a
man.
pickle. I'm in a pickle. I told my wife I'm 52 years old and I ain't never lost a wallet before, but I lost my wallet today. But man, look, let me tell you something.
I'm sorry, bro. You know I can't.
Today,
I love you, bro.
today, today is the Fire Nagy train.
What?
It's the left the station. It's the left the station, and it's picking up steam. Cause that 3rd and 1, where they took the shot, it's like everybody like it's 3rd and 1. Just get a first down and keep going. Just get a first down and keep going. And this defense, Plank, I know you're a defensive guy. Man, this defense is atrocious.
Nope.
It's
Nope.
atrocious.
Nuh-uh. Wrong call, Deborah. The average on the NFL is 24 points a game. If you give less than that, you're supposed to win the game.
The defense
No,
kept us in this game. They are not atrocious, and we're
Hey,
missing. We're missing.
but they
last
gave
minute
up.
hits.
They gave up the touchdown.
The offense
We
needed to
hate
do
that.
their
Yeah, you're
freaking
right.
job. They needed to help out.
Hey Jay, I want to before we close out, Jay, what was the mood? I know you just talked about the Fire Nagy train, but what was the mood in the arena as the time expired?
Fire Nagy. That was it. That was
Pitchforks
it.
and bonfires, huh?
That was it. That was it. And we got happy. We got happy when Goodwin went down the field and scored the touchdown. We was like, wow. And now I looked at the clock. I like Pittsburgh. I'm like, a minute 41. It ain't gonna happen. I knew it.
Building
I
was
knew
still
it.
out there. You're right.
I knew it. A minute 41 left on the clock, and we giving the ball back to the Ravens. And the sad thing about this whole thing is Lamar Jackson didn't play today.
Right.
You lose to a backup quarterback. And you lost to several backups because a lot of first stringers for Baltimore didn't play today. And you lost this game. Granted, we had some people that was out, but it wasn't a thing where it was like, did we miss Allen Robinson? He ain't really been in the mix all year. So you can't say that we missed him. But to lose to a Baltimore Ravens team that's 32nd in the NFL in pass defense and no Lamar Jackson, they was just running the ball. And that's all we would say. We was like, all they going to do is run the ball. All they going to do is run the ball. And that's what they did. And we wasn't able to stop them.
Okay.
Granted, granted, real quick, granted, it's one of them things where, like Tammy said, the offense was bad in the first half, but it's a lot of suspect play calling. I was laughing because when we saw Nagy on the sideline, he had an 8x11. He had an 8x11 card. And then when Dalton got in the game, it became like a 12x14. We was like, okay. We was like, Nagy calling the plays now because he got his guy in there. They went 3 tight ends when Mooney scored a touchdown. They went mass pro and all of that. And we like, why they don't do that when Justin in the game? So it was a lot of things that that we saw as fans in the stands. And being a season ticket holder, we sit around the same people, so we talk about the same things. And it's one of those things where we like, okay, why is it this way when this guy's in the game, and this way when this guy's in the game? So it is what it is. Me and Ed was just talking as he dropped me off in my car. I'm like, okay, you know what? This might be my last Bears game of the season. I might sell outside of the Minnesota Monday night game. I got to go to the Monday night game. But outside of that, I think I'm done for the year. I'm going to put my tickets on the market and sell them because, I mean, like I say, it ain't like we going nowhere. So,
Okay.
Just it is what it is.
Hey, Jay, real quick, give us your grade on the offense, grade on the defense, and grade on the coaching staff, and then we're going to close out.
Okay, my grade on the offense, I get them a D because we didn't move the ball. Absolutely, I think we had 57 yards in the first half, something like that. We was good on penalties until the second half, but I give the offense a D. I give the defense a D. Overall coaching, I give them a D. And special teams and defense, I give them a D. Everybody got a D today. D for disappointment.
Okay. Right. Hey, Jay, you said special
disagree.
teams too?
All of them. I give everybody a D.
Okay.
Everybody a D.
Okay.
Everybody.
So hey, we get ready for Thursday when the Bears play the Detroit Lions. What time is that game?
I think it's 11:30. I think it's 11:30, but
okay.
But I'm gonna get my prediction real quick. I said as I was looking at this schedule, as Detroit continues to keep losing and continue to be competitive, Detroit will get their first win on Thanksgiving against the Bears. And that's sad.
I'm sorry.
That's sad.
I know you said that. Hey, so we'll talk offline to see when we're going to do a pre-game, and when we're going to do the post game. But we like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, that red button below. Hit that button. And if you're on Facebook, if you're watching it on one of our page, please join the Bears Banter Talk Show group. Y'all have a nice evening. Peace.